Hi everyone, it's Deja. Welcome to Deja's Crafty Space. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I will show you how to paint on this blank puzzle board. I got this from Hobby Lobby in the woodcraft aisle. This is called Wood Rectangular Puzzle with Frame and it was $4.49. I will also be using a variety of acrylic paint from different brands, some paint brushes, specifically a flat brush and a detailed brush, and 2 paint trays. As always, I will include all of the materials and supplies I used in this video in the description section right below the title of the video. For blanks like this, I always feel so inspired to paint them. Now, if you remember from my last video, I shared that I am not good at painting at all, so for me, using a stencil for this kind of project is perfect. And by the way, this puzzle board came with a small piece of sanding paper, which I thought was really neat. I will be using a stencil to paint my design on the puzzle. I am using Cricut stencil vinyl. It comes in a packaging that looks like this and usually is blue. I'm not really a fan of this, but I'm trying to use it all up. In Cricut Design Space, I grabbed a square and resized it to 11 inches for width and 7 inches for height. This matches the dimensions of the puzzle and not the entire frame. Next, I found this turkey image in Cricut Design Space and centered it with a rectangle. I also found these leaves in Cricut Design Space and randomly placed them around the turkey. Then I selected everything, went down to the Combine option, and selected Exclude. I weeded out everything and just kept the square because I will paint in the empty spaces to create my turkey. I'm not sure what happened, but this stencil vinyl had a lot of air bubbles after it was weeded, so I decided to not use transfer tape to transfer it over to the puzzle board because this can actually ruin the entire stencil. So I just did it freehand and fixed the design as needed to lay it down nicely. I started off by painting the entire puzzle and frame with this paint. This shade is called Linen by the brand Folk Art. I mentioned in my last video that I am not good at painting at all, so using stencils is a great idea for beginners who want to paint on projects like this. I honestly wish I was good at freehand painting because it would make this process a little bit easier and faster and more unique. After this, I used my handy heat gun to speed up the drying process. Once it was dried to the touch, I removed the puzzles from the frame and started aligning it with the stencil. I peeled off a small portion of the stencil carrier sheet to expose a little bit of the adhesive side of the stencil and then creased the carrier sheet. This will give me room to move around and align it perfectly without any errors. Again, I'm doing it this way because of the air bubbles underneath the stencil vinyl. Putting transfer tape over it could alter the way how the stencil lays on the puzzle, or it could take too long to fix. And honestly, I am not much of a patient crafter, so I always try to find ways to do things quickly and efficiently. After that, I placed the turkey eyes and beak back onto the puzzle. This doesn't need to be perfect, but I tried to put the eyes and beak in the right spot as best as I could. Now we're all set to paint. I will be sure to list all the paint colors in the screen above. Slowly peel away the stencil. I like to do this when the paint is still a little damp. You can also remove the stencil when the paint is completely dry too, but I found that if you wait until it dries completely, you could accidentally lift up some dry paint that has settled onto the vinyl, and this can cause cracks along the edges of the painted areas. I go back with my heat gun to speed up the drying process. I will then remove the little eyeballs and beak and paint these sections with a small, fine, detailed brush. I think this would be a really fun project to do with kids, and you can certainly paint it without stencils. You can even take the puzzles apart first and put pattern vinyl or cardstock on it, or even more fun, you can do a stencil out of thick cardstock and do a paint by the numbers kind of event with friends. That would be so much fun. I definitely think this would also be fun for all kinds of occasions and even make a great gift for someone. The possibilities are endless. Alright, I'm all done painting now. I did go back and repaint each section 2 to 3 times to give it full coverage. Wait until the paint is completely dry and then slowly take the puzzles apart. You can use the little sanding paper that came with the puzzles like this. Another way to sand the edges is with a sanding block like this yellow one that I have. For tight areas like this, I like to use a nail filer. I got this nail filer from Dollar Tree and it came in a pack of 6. This nail filer can get in between the small areas that a sanding block and paper may have a harder time getting to. Make sure to sand the inner and outer edges so that fitting the puzzle pieces together will be super smooth. Now that I'm all done, you can watch me put this puzzle piece all together. Yay! We finally finished the puzzle! You can also seal the paint with any kind of Mod Podge based on your preference. This will prevent the paint from chipping, scratches, and keep the longevity of the puzzle in good shape. Thanks for watching and see you all in the next video. Bye!